What's up, boys? Today we're going to be replacing some 6.5-inch speakers right here on this 2006 Chevrolet Silverado. This is a work truck model. To replace this, you got to take this door panel off, and I'll be showing you how to do that, obviously. So why am I replacing this speaker? Well, let me show you the reason. So let's just turn up the radio on a sports channel, that way I don't get in trouble.
We'll find out. Utah at home, very tough. They're a little bit ahead of West Virginia,
Hey,
at least
that
at the moment. I
distortion?
think West Virginia's got to replace some really key pieces at some key positions, but...
So that sound tells me the speaker is bad, so we're going to go ahead and replace it. And we got some JBL speakers here. These are component. We got the mid-range 6.5-inch speakers. The tweeter is going to mount separately. You can see right here on the Espanol side, there's a tweeter. And we'll put it somewhere in here, I guess. Maybe right there, if there's room. We gotta put the crossover in there too. Pretty basic hookup. Should sound way better than these because the tweeters, they're pretty much useless when they're down this low. They're down there by my feet. I need them up here where I can hear. Because if you notice on most of the new cars, they got the tweeters up here somewhere. Sometimes they're even right here. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. We got it all out of the box, and this thing comes with an ungodly amount of stuff. Here's our two tweeters. Here's the crossovers. Here's the speakers. Here's the grill covers they give you. I don't know if I'm going to use these or not because I already got grills built into the door. Here's some metal adapters, more adapters, and then all this is for the tweeters. These speakers look pretty high quality. Okay, so the instructions are just pictures. They probably did that so they didn't have to print everything in different languages. Pictures are universal, but this is showing how you mount the speaker. And yeah, it's showing the foam right there to kind of wrap around the back side of the speaker. And it goes in your enclosure in the car, and then you can put the grill over it if you want to. BN CO. One of these is plastic. Yeah, that's plastic, and then the bottom one's metal. So it's showing you have I guess an option maybe between the two. Yeah, you can put the foam on the back side of the plastic, mount the plastic to your enclosure, and then mount the speaker to the plastic adapter. I don't really know where the metal one comes into play. I guess it's just showing you could also use it. Now we're down to the tweeters. They're pretty basic, looks like. F is your tweeter, and then you have all these adapters, which I showed you earlier. These go on the front side, then this will go on the back side. This just mounts directly. Another direct mount option. There's another option. This just shows the crossover. You have your wires coming. This is shown from an amplifier, but mine are coming from a head unit, which is plenty enough for these. Just shown on the left side, which is in. The middle one, WF, goes to your mid, and yeah, and then this goes to your tweeter. So yeah, that's it. Let's get the door panel off. All right, first thing I do when I take a door panel off is just remove any of this crap that you got in the door. Remember, the guys who do this for a living won't be using metal stuff, or at least they shouldn't. I really don't care. This is my vehicle, guys, and this is a work truck. I could give a crap about scratches. I'm not a professional. I've never claimed to be one. People remind me all the time that I'm not one. That's off of there. Let's go ahead and pull this off. This one's easy. Now, window cranks that come off like this one, I don't like. I just would rather have a screw, but you know, it is what it is. You got to pop out this stupid clip. Well, there it went, and I gotta look for it now. So I saw it go somewhere over here. Gonna see if the old magnet can get her. Hopefully she will. Haha, look at that. Now let's pop this bad boy out of there. There she goes. And we go ahead and pull that window crank off of there. Pull this foam out. So in the case of my truck, we only have 2 bolts to pull out, and it is a 7mm. There's one, and the other one is down here. Then we got one more screw right here. It's kind of hidden. So that actually makes 3 screws. Now I think it's ready to come out, I hope. Yeah. Lift up, pull out. So I'm looking for spots for the crossover and the tweeters. And right off the bat, I see we got a pocket right here. Crossover could go in right there. Yeah, like that. That fit in there real nice. Now the tweeter is a little more tricky, but luckily it doesn't take up much space. Okay, so it needs to be somewhere right in there, and that's just metal right back behind it. I still believe that there's enough room back there because it is recessed a little bit. You can see that lip. So I think the best option for me is these. These just mount flat on the surface. These are made to recess into the door. We don't have enough room for that. This is just a Pioneer 6.5 inch. Oh wow, there's like water in there. Nice. Oh, look at that. Came completely off. Jeez, what's on there? Yeah, that's Pioneer, boys. Now remember, with old speakers like these, don't throw them away. Keep them, and you can tie some rope to it. And if you got a piece of metal that's on the ground you lost and you want to find it, or if you just want to pick up some old metal shavings, use this. Drag it around in the grass, pick up nails, screws, whatever. Okay, I'm sure somebody has corrected me by now who hasn't got to this point, but instead of mounting the crossover down here on the door panel, we're going to mount it over here on the door, because if you mount it on this, that makes the wiring kind of difficult. Everything on the door panel makes it to where all your wiring is right here, so it's going to go down here somewhere. We'll figure it out. Door panel goes right there. So this should be pretty, oh crap, it's hollow there. Okay, so right off the bat, unfortunately, these crossovers are cheap. To break them loose, it's kind of sketchy. But you gotta basically do this and pry it open. So we got it open, and right off the bat, see there's the tab that holds it shut, and it already broke one on this side, so that's great. We're gonna have to glue it back when we're done. So that spot down there is not going to work. We got another area where there's a big void right here. Right in here, you can see there's tons of room where I could mount it. So we can put it right underneath here, right in here. This stupid thing keeps getting in my way, so it's got to go. I'm sure this is going to traumatize a few people, so y'all might just not want to watch this part. Like I said, this is an old work truck. I don't really care. There, isn't that a lot easier? And this is from the next day, but I actually added that vapor barrier back to the passenger side door. I wish I wouldn't have got mad on the driver's side and tore that one all up and then threw it away. I can't even pull it out of the trash. Garbage man already picked it up. You gotta make sure that it's not gonna be hitting nothing on the back side, and you also gotta roll down the window because there's gonna be some screws protruding through that. It's pretty far away. It's about that far, about an inch. It still doesn't have a good area to mount it, unfortunately. I mean, man, this is tough. Right there, maybe. I think that'll work. So I got some self-tapping screws. We're just going to use them right there. Now let's try this. Okay, that works. Door panel fits. So I'm using some screws that are slightly longer for the bottom ones, just because the ones I was using, they don't seem to be long enough. A lot better. She's in there now. And put this on it. We're definitely going to have to use some JB Weld on that, because that is going to definitely come off if we don't use JB Weld. Want to roll this window up and down and make sure it's not hitting the back side of these screws. And it's good. Okie dokie, we got my JB weld. Hate that I have to do this. Oh, she must be clogged up on one side. There she goes. Yeah, we'll just empty her out. Whatever. And I know this is permanent, guys. People love to tell me that stuff I do is permanent. Yeah, that's what I want. If I gotta take this thing back off, it's because something's broke. It's that simple. Just smear this crap on there. Okay, that'll work. Well, I should have done this earlier, but I didn't. So we got to figure out exactly where the tweeter is going to go. It's good enough. We want the tweeter right there, works for me, dead center. Now it doesn't really matter too much what's behind that, but we want a little bit of space for the wiring to come through. Yeah, I think we definitely got some room. So here's all the screws they give you. They give you a pretty good assortment. Center it up. There's two. We want to go ahead and drill some holes so our wires can go through. So I'm going to use this 1/4 inch drill bit. As you can see on these tweeters, they're supposed to spin on there. And now you can push it on down, turn it, kaboom, done. So once I can get my wiring, I can run my wiring from the crossover over to through here, and I'm going to have to kind of secure it to the door so it don't get hung up on any of this crap here. Then I can put the 6.5 inch speaker in there, and I can run the wiring as well from the crossover to the tweeter. Of course, we're going to have to cut these ends off. Okay, so it's the next day. I'm definitely about to get rained on. Chevrolet wiring is kind of weird. Tan is positive, gray is negative. And then the passenger door, I'm sure that's different. Now we went to O'Reilly's and got these little things here that come with butt connectors and these heat shrink tubes. They are expensive. It's like $11 for those. I put them all in here and kind of organize them. So I have to do a voiceover for the rest of this video because my mic quit working. The factory wiring that comes in through the door is going to run all the way across it to that crossover. So I'm just going to cut it right here, and then I'll just add new wiring to it. Now I gotta strip the wire, and I'm using these self-adjusting strippers that I got from O'Reilly's, and they work okay, but sometimes they cut through the wiring, especially on smaller wiring. Now I gotta figure out what length of wire I want to use, and you can just go ahead and connect one end of that wire and then just kind of unroll it and figure it out when you get to the end of it and then cut it. Or you can estimate and just be sure to cut it a little long. Now it was very hard to split the negative wire from the positive wire on this speaker wire. Normally you can just kind of cut down the middle of it and then pull them apart. On this, that wasn't happening. It would pull it to where you could see the wiring would be exposed. So you have to just cut down the middle of it with a knife and try not to veer off into the wiring. So this is a part that I sometimes forget. You got to put those shrink tubes on there first, and then you can put your butt connector on there and crimp it and then slide the shrink tube over it. 1, 2. So now that we did that, we can go ahead and center these shrink tubes up to where they need to be, about right there. Get our heat gun and just shrink it. Okay, let's talk about the connections for the crossover here for a minute. These are all Phillips head screws. You just gotta turn them counterclockwise, loosen them up a little bit. And on these wires over here, the ends of them, we're gonna put these things with the little fork on the end. And they'll just slide right underneath where I've loosened it up. And then you just tighten it down. So it's real simple. So the wiring comes through right there, and we're going to run it with this wiring just zip tied up too. That way we don't have to drill no holes anywhere. run it all the way over here, and then up, and then probably behind this piece, and then right into there. Okay, we got it ran up to this, got the screws loosened up. Gold is my positive, so we're gonna run it right there, tighten this up. Okay, so I bought some more self-tapping, self-drilling screws, some short ones, and we got some zip ties with these little eyelets on the ends. I love these. That way you can mount these bad boys to a surface, just like that. And now we gotta use one of those to secure the wiring so it's not rubbing on that rod, because the rod is gonna move back and forth. I use self-tapping screws to secure the zip tie, and they screw through this metal really fast, so you have to watch it. At this point, I've already ran the wiring for the tweeter and the mid-range speaker. I got it all zip tied up on the door panel, and I got the fork terminals connected to the ends of the wiring. That's what those things are called. So once you have all these installed, you just kind of want to give each one a little tug just to make sure it's not coming out of there. These are all good. We got all the wiring ran right here, got it all zip tied up. When it comes over to here is where it splits. This one's going to go up to the tweeter, and this one right here is going to go on the back side of this to my 6.5 inch speaker. So I think I have a good enough idea how long I want this wire to be. Probably something like that. Give it a little bit of slack so I can hook it up and put the speaker in. So I kept the original wiring that plugs into the speaker, but we're going to use that. So it just finished that up. There's how that came out. Now we can go ahead and hook up the speaker and then mount it. Oh, we gotta put this, where's that crap at? We gotta stick this foam to the back of the speaker first. This foam has a paper you peel away, and then it has an adhesive that just sticks to the surface, and I just cut them in 4 strips and put them in between the mounting holes. Once that was done, I just grabbed my wire and then pulled it through and went ahead and hooked it up to the speaker, positive first, and then negative. I always make sure I put the wires on the bottom side of the speaker when I put it in the enclosure. That way they're not hitting on the speaker. Put these in loose at first, and once you have all 4 of them in, tighten them on down. So the wiring from the tweeter is not long enough, because you pull this door panel off, that's not enough slack. So we're just going to cut this and extend these wires out a little longer. There, right there. 1, 2. So now we need to figure out how long we want to make the wiring. Now I want the connection to probably be somewhere down here when we pull the door panel off. The tweeter's up there. That's about, I'd say, 1.5 feet. Hell, I'd say that's enough. Alright, that looks good to me. Now we need to cut this end, and then once we have our wires figured out, we'll put these ends on here, one like that, so whenever we pull the door panel off, you can just disconnect the wiring. You don't have to cut the wiring. Alright, that's it. There's our wiring that attaches to the door panel. I don't know what this is. It says GTO, and then it's got +3 decibels, 0 decibels, so you push it in, it gives you +3. I'm just leaving it out. Now it's time to put the door panel back on, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and hook these wires up. So I got plenty of slack right here, as you can see. That's good. I didn't want these connections touching, so I taped over these with some electrical wire too. You just got to line everything up when you put the door panel back on. Don't force anything. And once the door panel is flush against the door, it should just drop on down there. If it doesn't, just kind of push it on down a little. So before I go any further, I want to make sure these speakers actually work. So let's turn this up.
Exclusively for you, the property owner, and not the insurance.
All right, she sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and install all this crap back in there. Let's start with the easy stuff. Stick this foam piece back in there. This piece kind of fits down in there. It snaps. Let's go ahead and get this one. This will be the short screw. That. Put the lock back on there. Remember, there's where the rod fits. And you can refer to your passenger side to see which way this goes. Does it go like that? Does it go like that? Well, you can see over there, the black is up front. So we'll do it the same way over here. Black up front. And push this into the rod. There it is. Now don't forget the hidden screw that goes right here. Right there. Well, it's nice when they line up. This one just snaps in there. Put it on there like that. And we got one more down here. There it goes. So let me show you guys real quick how this thing does work. These things go flying. Yeah, you better have that magnet. Okay, see how that went in there? That fits in that groove right there. Once you have the clip on there like this, just push it on the rod and it'll snap in there. Well, that concludes this episode. Look, I even cleaned up my door panel, guys. Looks pretty good, huh? Yeah. Hey, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Go easy on me, guys. I'm not a car audio expert. But yeah, y'all be safe out there. We got tornado weather coming in, so fingers crossed on this one. Of course, I won't be showing you, but we'll be definitely doing the other door panel. So we'll see you guys on the next one.